This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Monday? We are kicking off the month of November right here on the Joe Gaither Show. We're live here in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. You're watching us on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com, hanging out with you guys right off of McFarland Boulevard. I'm here with Mason Woods, and we're going to be having a lot of fun on a Monday right here on Bama Central's YouTube channel or on my own social media machines at Joe Gaither 6. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about fake injuries today. We're going to talk about Alabama and LSU. We're going to talk about Alabama and UNC Asheville as the month of November kicks off college basketball. Here. I cannot wait. Woo-wee. Follow my friend Mason Woods at MAWoods_ as we kick off a new week. You can listen to us always on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon, The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We want to thank Derek Daniel for sponsoring the program and bringing us right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can call him today at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, what's good, man? How was your weekend? Are you ready for a rivalry week, Alabama and LSU?
I am very ready. This is my favorite rivalry of all of them, personally. I have...
all right, so what makes it your favorite rivalry?
Memories of just the few times that LSU won, them being so seared into my brain because I was at such a, I think I was probably around 8 or so, 8 to like 10, right in that where it really I'm crying after the game. Like I feel like my life has just collapsed. Yes. So those specifically, watching those with my family. And then I, remember my dad just trying to explain like, hey, but it's just a game. Could not be consoled. I'm crying real grown man tears at age 12. It was tough. So
how old were you when AJ McCarron dumped it off to TJ Yeldon? What is that, 2014?
Yeah, that would have had been...
No, 2012, somewhere in there.
Probably right around 12, 13. So that was a good one.
And he's weeping on the sidelines, a South Alabama boy, to save Alabama's season.
Yep. So I personal vendetta against the LSU Tigers. I will never... I forever will hold the take that I am jealous of LSU fans just because of how much fun it looks like they have sometimes. But I will never root for LSU. I do not like LSU, and I will just say that outright. There's bad memories there. I got a lot of trauma associated with the LSU Tigers.
That's 2013.
I was at that game in 2019. That was a tough one.
Yeah, I was. My big LSU memory, really, is my main one is from the game of the century. What was that? 2011.
Oh yeah.
They come to Tuscaloosa. I'm out on the quad with more money than I probably had ever had in cash on me at that time in my life, and thinking I'm gonna get a ticket in this game. I'm gonna get a ticket in this game, and people wouldn't even look my way. I think I probably had $400 or $500 on me, and I'm thinking I'm hot stuff. But nobody would even look my way, and I ended up watching it with a girlfriend at that time, and just seeing the whole demise and just being like, oh my goodness. And honestly, Michael Williams catches that ball, right there on the goal line. The play should have been dead. Alabama's on the 1 yard line in that instance instead of a turnover.
That was not I will take that to my grave. That was not an interception.
Anyways, that's my biggest. But really, I was in the stadium in 2009. Yeah, 2009, LSU comes here, and I have gone to the restroom, and I'm working my way back up to the stadium as Julio Jones is catching his screen pass, goes down the sidelines, and the stadium just falls apart around me in the aisle. And you know how it is in the stadium. And Julio is just going down, and people are just losing their minds.
So many amazing memories associated with this rivalry. It has brought us so many great games throughout the years. I am very excited to hopefully witness another great installment of it this weekend.
Absolutely. So I cannot wait. You're going to get down to LSU this weekend, and we'll get into that game just a little bit right here on the Joe Gaither Show today, as there are comments about Garrett Nussmeier. We're going to talk about Garrett Nussmeier, Karen Lacey, little Aaron Anderson, Mason Taylor. It's going to be a little problem for Alabama's defense, I think. I think you're in for it. But there are ways you can exploit Garrett Nussmeier. We'll talk about those as well. But I want to talk first on Friday. We had an episode, Football Friday, every Friday, but usually we record it in the morning time. And I think we did that last week. On Friday, Greg Sankey, as we're heading out to high school football, says, okay, guys, I'm going to be your daddy for a little bit. And Greg Sankey, good on you. Well done. Says, I'm going to play father figure, leader of the pack. I'm going to say, everybody, cut this stuff out and play college football. Play football as it's meant to be played. Greg Sankey issues a memo to all 16 coaches and athletic directors saying, cut out the fake injury stuff.
Papa brought the hammer down.
Yeah, and he says we're going to send the injuries to a review board. They will determine for us if it's a fake injury, if it's a real injury. Everything will be independently reviewed.
What do you think that job looks like?
Oh, I think it's awesome. Absolutely. But if it's determined that you faked an injury and it was directed by the coaches to fake that injury, it's going to be a $50,000 fine the first time and a public reprimand.
Public reprimand.
How do you do that? Yeah, exactly. What happens? Is it just a memo that goes on social media?
I think, when Lane Kiffin tells JJ Peaks to get down, you bring him out to I-65 right here in Birmingham, and you spank him right in front of all them cars passing by. That's what a public reprimand looks like. Lane, you have been bad. You have done this far too many times in my conference. No more. That's what Greg Sankey says.
We cannot have this, Lane Kiffin. We cannot have this, Maurice Linguist. Ooh. You see King Mac getting pushed down on the sidelines. Is he really hurt? Is he not? The second time, it's going to be a $100,000 fine and another public reprimand. And then the third is going to be a suspension.
That's actually crazy.
Ambiguous suspension. It doesn't say 1 game. It doesn't say 5 games. It just says a suspension. So will it be a half? What will it be? Will it even get that far? What do you make of Greg Sankey saying, guys, cut this bleep out? This is not SEC football. This is not within the spirit of the game. And we're going to start doing something about this.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's very obvious that something needs to be addressed. This is not just an issue that's kind of happening it's becoming so prevalent to the point that it's genuinely affecting games. Now we're seeing teams do this so frequently, specifically teams like Ole Miss. And I'm glad that Greg Sankey is at least doing something. I think, personally, I don't really understand why up to this point the NCAA has not just adopted the same model that the NFL has, where you lose your timeouts, and that it seems like a good de-incentivizer to fake injuries if you're going to lose a timeout. I think you see a lot less of it. So I wish that they would just go and take that model. It seems to work in the NFL pretty well. I don't see a lot of fake injuries there. I don't really understand why we're having to shell out public reprimands and fines when the NCAA, which I guess they just don't have any power here, but it seems like somebody could just step in and say, hey, we're going to lay down a new rule for all of college football. But I guess not.
I'm happy with it so far. I mean, we saw King Mac in the Tennessee game go down, and we've seen a lot we saw the Ole Miss clip. Jackson Dart waves at his running back. You can read about, I put both of those clips in the article that I wrote about after our availability today, because Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack essentially saying the same exact thing, saying that obviously they received this memo. Alabama didn't play this weekend, so it didn't affect anything. But great, you get to read it, you get to digest it over the weekend.
One thing I'm noticing really quick in this memo.
Yeah, go for it.
Right at the end. Did you notice that student athletes can also be publicly reprimanded?
No, I didn't see this.
So I think that's going to be very interesting. We'll see. We'll see Jackson Dart get an announcement levied from the SEC that, whoever it is, likely to Jackson Dart or someone on Ole Miss. I'm interested to see where this goes. What is a public reprimand going to look like for a coach? What is it going to look like for a player? Because let's not forget, these are still amateurs.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay, well, do you think that these edicts will make it stop? Because we didn't see anything. I didn't see any clips over the weekend. Now, granted, I was pretty offline on Saturday. I just got to admit that I was pretty offline on Saturday. I didn't see any clips about faking injuries. Any comments about that? Yeah. Do you think that these edicts will stop it over the last month of the season?
I don't think this does anything. That money doesn't affect the coach whatsoever, really. I mean, most of these coaches are making so much money, and as far as I understand, this penalty, I don't even know if that goes to the head coach.
It might go to the school. I have no idea.
It might just be handled by the school. So, yeah, I think the only way that you're going to actually enact any change with this is if you start actually affecting the game, not anything outside of the game. A player could care less about a letter from the SEC that says, hey, you've been bad. They're just going to repost it on their Instagram and get a crap ton of likes and follows. Like, it's not, that means nothing to them. I like it. I like the idea, but you got to do something that's going to actually, I don't think this is going to have any effect.
Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack is essentially saying today that nothing changes for Alabama. They essentially didn't say that they coached the players to lay down. They said if you're hurt, you have to go down because of the speed of the offenses and because of the substitution rules. If you're hurt, we want you to take the precaution of going down. We don't want you to help yourself off the field. You know, you never know what your kind of injury might be. Jeff Allen wants to run out. And look, their training staff is amazing. So of course you want them to get out there and double check on the player. You know,
I'm all for that. In theory,
right? But it was always, you know, we asked after, Mike Rodak asked after the Tennessee game about the Mo Linguist thing, and everybody maintained faith that, oh, King Mackey was hurt, and if you're hurt, you need to go down, and that's the only way to get a proper substitution and gets us in the right personnel pack. And look, those are true. You do want to get the right personnel package, 100%. And if I'm down a safety, then you might have to change to this, or if you're down a linebacker, you might have to change to that. So like things change. That's true. That's the only odd one for Alabama this year. And so outside of that, I believe them completely. I can't
point to any other specific examples other than that one from Alabama this year. Not that I can think of, at least off the top of my head. There's other teams where you can find a lot of those examples. And I think that's maybe more what this memo is targeting, but it's going to be levied against everyone moving forward. So I just don't think it's going to have a huge effect. I think whoever is going to fake injuries is going to continue to tell their players to fake injuries because it gives you a competitive advantage at times.
Will we see a fake injury this weekend in Baton Rouge?
If they need one, yeah.
Will Little Anderson go down, or will it be Red Morgan goes down because they're in a hurry?
Now, one thing that is maybe interesting is I do wonder if this becomes something that starts getting addressed in practices, like, hey, when this happens, we're going to need a fake injury, so you better be ready to get down and do it, so that we don't have coaches standing on the sideline going, get down, get down, making it super obvious. That could maybe play into this year, but I think overall, maybe for a week or two, you see a slight downtick, but I don't think it's going to really change the overall outcome of football. I think it's going to continue to be an issue moving forward. I mean, teams still you still get field stormings every week. That didn't change anything,
That's gone crazy. They stormed the field in South Carolina. They tore those that field.
I saw a guy walking out of there with one. He took it home and planted it at home.
Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, I know
they got to be ready for a home game like this weekend, don't they?
I think they're playing. I think they're on the road, but South Carolina.
So 2 weeks maybe. I mean, I'm interested to see what those hedges look like.
Yeah, they're at Vanderbilt and they're back at home against Missouri.
You got 2 weeks to find your local nursery and get thousands of dollars of shrubs brought in to fix everything.
Because not only are you sending money to the opposing school, you are 50 or 150, different tiers for that. You're also damaging. Like, you got to go buy new goalposts. You got to Did they tear the goalpost down?
I think so.
No. Like, it's just a top 10 win. It's not like you beat number one. Like, expect to, are we the SEC or what? Like, I know it's just annoying. Get off the field.
I'm happy to have been right about that one, though.
You were. You
called
talked
that
me.
one.
You talked. Yeah, I was not going to go there. Shane Beamer.
Love me some Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer. Gonna have to soften my stance just a little bit publicly and say, one, well done on your win. Pitching a second half shutout. That defensive line is for real. But
so good.
They're incredible, and that just makes the Alabama win look better. But Shane Beamer, I applaud you for being willing to make yourself look like a fool in front of your team for the sake of your wife's enjoyment. And I hope that she did enjoy it. I hope that she received it well. I hope it wasn't, I hope it was as pure as it was presented through the TV, through my phone screen. That's what I hope for. But if you didn't see it, Shane Beamer goes after the locker room. He's giving out game balls. He's giving out announcements, and he's wrapping it up. And he's like, all right, one more. Actually, I got to call my wife up. It's her birthday. And she comes up, and she's all embarrassed. And he calls for him. He's like, oh, you guys know this song. I need you to help me sing it. And they put it on, and he dances and sings.
When I See You by
Keisha
Fulio. You don't know
Fantasia.
Fulio. They were singing Fulio though, the Fulio one. That's the one that they were singing.
Oh,
Fulio. R.I.P. Fulio. By the way, he died a couple months ago, but they were singing the Fulio one.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yes,
all right. I thought it was Fantasia.
It is I don't know if it's it's a remix. I think that Fulio, that's the one in the video, but I love Shane Beamer, and I just like the guy. He's just likable. He's fun. I will always appreciate a coach, like you said, that makes a bit of a fool of themselves for the sake of their team, for the sake of their family, for the sake of the people around them, just to get a laugh. I just love someone that doesn't take themselves too seriously. I think
it's just football.
It's
not. We're not doing rocket science.
Like it's just not everything has to be that deep. I know that there are millions and millions of dollars being thrown around and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's just football. We're just out here. These are dudes playing a child's game for lots of money, and people coaching a child's game for lots of money. It's just, I love it. I'm all for more Shane Beamer comment. Please give me more Gamecock social media. Show me more of him, of some Shane Beamer uncut.
Wouldn't you have loved to have seen the clip of him kicking the locker, breaking his foot, or what? Did he break his foot or break his hand?
I think it was
a punch the locker.
Didn't he get hurt? I remember him having a thing on his hand, but I feel like I also remember something. Did he get hurt more than once?
I think he kicked something and broke a foot.
Why do I have a visual of him with a cast on, though? In my head, I can see that. I feel like maybe he got hurt more than once. But yeah, he's just a goofy guy. I think he's good for South Carolina. They're kind of a goofy team with the Darude Sandstorm. We talked about it like. So. I think it's good. I'm all for it.
You think all the South Carolina fans are just dropping acid the whole game?
That's what it kind of seems like. I mean,
like we're just in an EDM concert the whole time, but they're only playing the same song.
They need to go the route of TCU a few years ago with the Hypno Toad. They need a Hypno Gamecock.
Yes,
just a big rooster up there with his eyes are flashing. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oh, terrifying.
Maybe they have the mascot come out in like a rainbow outfit and like all neon. Get some strobe lights in the stadium. Just really ham it
everybody
up.
Epileptic seizures. The whole game.
Yeah, you got to sign a waiver before you go in.
That's our home field advantage.
Give the opposing quarterback an epileptic seizure.
Connor Wegman, Marcel Reed, they're both spazzing out on the sideline.
That's what happened this weekend.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yes, please, if you have not watched it, go watch that video. I guarantee you can find it on Twitter. It's all over.
I retweeted it. Great. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Alabama's got a big one. You had the week off. And so let's transition a little bit and talk about Garrett Nussmeier. Before we do, I should tell you about our friends, Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Purple Turtle Roofing, whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. They're the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. You can visit them online today at roofturtle.com. Let me knock that bad boy down. Perfect. And we are live here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can call Derek at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Alabama got last week off. Enjoyed a little bye week. Did
they win the bye week?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They won the bye week because how many teams lost ahead of them? Clemson. Didn't we say November was coming?
Oh, yeah.
So you won the bye week. You got a big old win, another win for Vanderbilt. Makes your win look even better. Back into the top 25 for the Commodores. They've got a tough end of the season.
Did you see the little post game, clips of the players kind of getting into it back and forth about after that Vandy Auburn game? That was some
Diego Pavia was spicy in this. I wanted to make them pay. Another team that they thought last year I got lucky.
Oh man,
he said they thought
he owns you, Hugh Freeze.
Yeah,
Diego Pavia is your daddy.
Hugh Freeze, the same 2-year record, or no, he's one off. He's one loss worse than Brian Harsin in 2 seasons. Like, how much you? Oh,
I saw Brian Harsin with the Victory Monday tweet this morning. Good for him, just enjoying his millions.
Huge, yes. All right, so Alabama's going down to Baton Rouge, 2.5-point favorite right now. Yeah, let me zoom in and make sure that I'm right. 6:30.
It's a little spicy.
2.5-point favorite, must win, gotta have it. Alabama's -140 on the money line if you want to play it just on the money line. 58 is the total. 6:30 on ABC. Death Valley. You're going to have as the sun is setting in the western sky. Bum, 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 bum. Now that you've got the time change also.
It's going to be nice and dark.
It's going to be dark down there, and the voodoo's going to be out.
Smelling the bayou.
Garrett, Nussmeier, all up in your business. Garrett, it's going to be a problem, Mason. What you thinking? Like, how you feeling on Monday?
I feel okay. I think on Monday, if Alabama does what they did against Missouri, they should win this game. I think if they continue to hammer Jam and Justice, maybe get Richard Young involved a little bit. He had a good run against Missouri. Maybe spell the other two a bit with him. And just keep hammering the ball. And I think they win this game. I think LSU has shown that they cannot stop the run, whether it's a quarterback run, whether it's your running backs getting active. They can't defend it. So I feel good. And that being said,
okay.
I like Garrett Nussmeier, and I think he's a very good quarterback. I think that Texas A&M game's a little bit of an outlier. I think he could dice up this Alabama defense a bit.
Yeah, so LSU is 6-2, ranked 14th in the country. We're going to get some college football playoff rankings on Tuesday, tomorrow evening. Yes, go vote, but really the true drama is going to happen at 7 p.m.
ESPN,
Central.
baby.
Where is Alabama? Alabama's 11th in the AP poll. I think they're 11th in the coaching poll as well. I think that you're going to find Alabama at 10 or 11 in the poll right there in, baby, and everybody's going to be enraged.
Wow.
So mad. But if you lose to LSU, you're out. You're done. So this is a win. This is a college football elimination game this weekend. LSU ranked 14th in the AP poll, 3-1 in the conference. They were on a 6-game winning streak. Let's not pretend like they're playing bad football. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They lost opening game against USC, and for some reason, why? Brian Kelly cannot get his team up to play openers to save his life. But they go on a big run. You beat Nichols. Okay, well, you went to South Carolina, what we just praised, and South Carolina got up on you big. You came back and you beat South Carolina over there in the face of the EDM madness
that we
just
super easy place to play.
Right. You were fighting for your life. The acid trip was going hard. Just trying to stay in the game, fight through it. Then you beat UCLA. Okay, that we don't care. You beat South Alabama. We don't care. But then you are home with Ole Miss, and you're fighting and you're battling. Now you can talk about Ole Miss, but that's a good win.
That's a good win.
You're holding on. You're fighting. You're battling, and then you're at Arkansas. And Arkansas has proven to not be a slouch. Now they took feisty. Exactly. Above average.
Yeah,
a good little
feisty
team.
They're going to play. They're going to play you hard every weekend.
And they beat you. You beat the brakes off Arkansas 34-10. And you went to Texas A&M. And yes, it was a loss, but you're in it for a while, right? You're in it for a while.
You're in it until Texas A&M figures something out.
Right. So this is not a bad football team. This is a team that can absolutely beat Alabama this weekend. You are points per game, 32.8, 35th in the country. Points allowed, 182. That's 22.8. So you're 55th in the country in points allowed. And your strength of schedule is 13th in the country. You got Garrett Nussmeier has 2,600 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Now he threw 3 interceptions in this last game.
And
so
they were bad, mind you. But I think that's one of those, and I think I said this last week. That's one of those where he just burns that game tape and he moves on. That was an ugly game for him.
He's going to be throwing to Kyron Lacey, graduate senior, long time, grown man. Yeah, first round pick. He's going to be throwing to Mason Taylor, top 3-round pick. Grown man. If you don't remember Mason Taylor, check your history from 2 years ago. LSU wins.
Yeah.
Isn't it Mason Taylor on the 2-point conversion? Right. And then their third receiver is Aaron Anderson, who is the only player, I believe, that Nick Saban missed in the transfer.
What would he be doing on this Alabama team? With Jeremy Bernard here? If Aaron Anderson is still here, because I have to think he maybe still comes. Follows DeBoer.
Yeah, I think he still comes for sure.
Kobe Prentice gets bumped down the depth chart a bit, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Is Ryan Williams as sensational as he's been?
Yes. I don't know where Aaron Anderson would fit in right now because of his size and because of what you already have. We haven't seen the problem with the Alabama offense through 8 games is you haven't really seen a third receiver outside of Ryan and Jeremy. Sometimes it's been, Emmanuel Henderson's made a couple catches. Mm-hmm. Kobe Prentice has made a couple catches, and Kendrick Law has made a couple good runs and a couple of catches, but you haven't really had a third receiver really do much. Even CJ Dupree, even if you were to say just whoever the tight end is, just kind of make it whichever tight end you like, that position hasn't even been really featured as the third guy, that much or as much as I would like. So it's hard to say but he'd have to have a role. I think he's very, very talented. 36 catches for Aaron Anderson, 4 touchdowns, 36 catches, 614 yards. So he's second in yards by only 4 yards. Kyron Lacey has 41 catches, 618 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So they're ripping off some big plays down the field. And you got Mason Taylor underneath, 39 catches, 369 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's basically your underneath kind of, I'm just playing safety blanket. I think Alabama's going to have a really hard time with this group.
I think so too. You look back to the other teams that I don't really know any other teams that had this many good, strong receiving threats. That's something I think unfamiliar. That's a bit unfamiliar territory for this Alabama defense.
Luckily, if you can replicate a little bit of what Texas A&M did last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think Texas A&M mixed the picture up on Garrett Nussmeier a couple of different times, and that's something that Alabama has been doing or has done somewhat in some of these games. You kind of snuck a couple in on Carson Beck. I think that if you pressure him, if you can get after this run game, they're rushing 115 yards. 115 yards a game is what I think is what that says. 27 attempts, 115 yards a game, averaging 4.2 yards. So I think if you can slow that down, and get them into 3rd and longs, get your pass rushing guys out there, try to mix them up, try to turn them over, you might be able to get Garrett Nussmeier throwing the ball into areas where Malachi Moore looks really, really, really able to get after the ball. Bray Hubbard is able to get after the ball. Well, I think that's going to be your strategy here.
Yeah, it's I think that is what you have to do. I think it's certainly easier said than done, especially with as strong as LSU's offensive line is. They've got a few NFL guys on that offensive line, so it's going to be hard for Alabama to get home in the pass rush. But I think if you can, like you said, slow down the run and get them behind the chains on the early downs, on your 1st and 2nd downs, get them into a 3rd and long, and then you just sick the dogs on them. I feel confident enough in Alabama's coverage ability that they can, if they take a few guys out on third down to send them at Garrett Nussmeier's way, they can maybe make something happen. So I think as long as they can hold up on first and second down, if they can make it to a third and long, they're in a good spot.
All right. LSU, do you know this off the top of your head? Where do you think that LSU is in sacks allowed this year? They've played 8 games. Where do you think they are in the NCAA in sacks allowed?
I don't know. Ballpark, I'll give you a guess right off the top of my head. I say,
we got to remember that as you think, their offensive line, they got Will Campbell, they've got Emory Jones, DJ Chester, Miles Frazier. Really, it's the 2 tackles that are probably both going to be first rounders. Where do you think they are in sacks allowed?
Where are they ranked, or how many have they allowed this year?
Either. I mean, we'll play whatever you like.
I mean, I would say they're in the upper. Give them in the top 10 of the country, top 5 of the country. We'd say. I'd say they've allowed. Let's give it 15 sacks this year.
Okay, all right. Top 5 is correct. They're number 3 in the country, and number 3 in the country puts them at 4 sacks allowed. Army has only allowed 2 sacks. Georgia Tech has allowed 4 sacks as well, but they played 1 extra game, so they're ahead of them just a little bit. LSU is 3rd in the country, 4 sacks allowed in 8 games. So it's going to be a real big challenge for Alabama right there.
That's tough. That's very difficult to do. I think Kane Womack has his work cut out for him, getting some scheming done this week to figure out how to get guys, maybe free from blockers and get them open to the quarterback. Because while I love the Alabama defenders, I don't know if many of them are going to win those one-on-one matchups.
That's going to be very, very interesting to watch this week. And so we will keep watching some film. We are going to be talking again to, oh my goodness, I always forget the schedule. Tuesdays, our players. We'll have some Alabama players tomorrow morning. We'll probably have an episode beforehand, actually. If I can get my haircut in time, I'll have a haircut and then talk to some Alabama players. Then we'll talk to assistant coaches on Wednesday and get you ready. We'll have a football Friday, talk LSU the rest of the week, all these breakdowns. We'll look to see if there's any way, because I've only watched a little bit of LSU. Really, this is just me kind of box score reading and kind of dissecting what we've seen.
The most I watched of them was that LSU or A&M game, and that was maybe their worst game of this year.
So I will watch a good bit more before we continue to talk about LSU. Before we keep it going, I want to tell you about our friends at Druid City Music Hall. They are they're the premier place for live music on the Strip. Their next concert is going to be Austin Snell Thursday. That's in 3 days. Thursday, November 7th, 8 o'clock. Austin Snell is going to be playing. Then for Friday, you're looking for something to do Friday night. Charles Wesley Godwin is going to be playing Friday night. And then next Thursday, he's got Edwin Horner is going to be playing at Druid City Music Hall. So we appreciate Druid City Music Hall sponsoring the program. They're the premier place for live music on the Strip. You can visit them online, check out their entire lineup of shows all the way through the rest of the semester right there at druidcitymusichall.com/shows. Mason, let's wrap it up with a little Alabama basketball. The Crimson Tide at 8 o'clock tonight. The college basketball season begins in Tuscaloosa.
The eyes of the world focus on Tuscaloosa, Alabama tonight.
Really, it's true. It's been all year long, all off season long, excuse me, but we've been able to say it. And now it's here. This is the most talented team that has ever been assembled in Tuscaloosa. And now, look, all the waiting is over. All the waiting is over. We've seen them play Virginia Tech in a scrimmage. We saw them play Memphis in a scrimmage, and those were fun. And, you played well. You didn't have Grant. You didn't have Latrell. You didn't have Chris Youngblood. You didn't have Aiden Sherrill. So you didn't have a quarter of your roster. But it was fun to see those guys. But now it counts. Your first 3 games are against conference favorites. Tonight's UNC Asheville team, it walks into the season as the Big South Conference favorite.
22-12 last year. Very strong team.
And so it's just exciting. I cannot wait for it. You're a 26.5-point favorite. I was talking earlier, I think you're going to probably end up scoring 80, 85, 90 points. I mean, really, it's all about the defense. How well will you play defense? How consistently will you play defense? If you play consistent defense, the talent, the length on this team, you're going to be able to get up and down the floor so easily for so many quick plays, so many quick trigger threes, so many dunks, so many like everything. This might be the most quintessential year of NATO's basketball that's ever existed in the history of time. Think back to any year that he's been at Romulus. Buffalo, of course, he constructed good teams. But as far as a team construction from a roster management perspective,
exactly what he wants to do.
Yes.
And I think this is what NATO's been waiting on. This collection of talent, this collection of skill sets. It's all pieces of the puzzle. And he finally has finished the puzzle. He's laid it all out, and we've got it here. And it's time to put your money where your mouth is and figure out what you're made of. We've talked a lot about Nate Oates being a championship level coach, and I think he is. I think he can do it. I think he showed us last year that he can get you there to the Final Four.
Four SEC championships. So we got some. He's got some rings already.
Yeah, yes. I think Nate Oates can get you Final there, but it's time. It's time to finally do it this year, and I think they're going to. Feel really good about it.
Oh, I just cannot wait for it. You're gonna have to wait another month and a half on Chris Youngblood.
It's okay.
But according to John Rothstein, what you'll expect tonight is to see Grant Nelson, Latrell Wrightsell, and Aiden Sherrill off the bench. None of the three will start. They'll all three be on minutes restrictions. But I think that by the time they're fully healthy, you'll see Grant and Latrell in the starting lineup on a game-to-game basis, pretty much consistently, unless something's gone wrong. It's going to be Mark. Let's see. Your starting lineup was just guess it. It's going to be Mark. It's going to be Cliff O'Maury. Give me those two. Give me Mark, Cliff, and Maury. Give me LeBaron Philon. Give me LeBaron Philon. Give me Darion Reed, and either Jaron Stevenson, or
Diabate.
No.
I would love to see Modi get a start.
He's not going to start. He's going to be your off the bench guy the whole year. I'll stick with Jaron.
Man, this team is so good. I'm looking through it again now. Just top to bottom. I mean, there are so many players on this team that other teams would be clamoring to have, and they're just going to be like rotation.
Oh, you might have Houston Millett start as that fifth.
Love me some Houston Millett. Number 95, Houston Millett.
Oh, it's going to be somewhat 8:00,
man,
in Coleman Coliseum. I will be there. I cannot wait for that. I want to say thanks to Katie's father, Mr. Wyndham, sending me a ticket. So appreciate that. Absolutely. So we're going to be in the building tonight, watching it with my own eyes.
I think, like you said, defense is what we're looking for tonight. Defense is what we want to see.
Consistency.
We know that the team can score.
I think it's effortless on the offensive end.
We know that they're going to
stay out of foul trouble, play smart.
Yeah. Don't turn the ball over. That would be cool, but hey, we know the offense is going to be okay. Let's play some good, solid sound. Let's go back to the days of Herb Jones. Let's go back to that team and play defense like that.
What is it? Two different years. Nate Oates has had teams in the top 10 in defense. I think that Herb Jones year was 3, and I think they also had a year that was 8 or 9. Going into year 6, right, with Coach Oates. We want to have a third year in the top 10, because I think last year's offense was number 1 for the entire year. It slipped a little bit into number 2, number 1. But the defense was atrocious.
Abysmal.
I think it's going to be effortless again on the offensive. As long as Mark's running the show and LeBaron is basically I think LeBaron is just going to be that young dog that Mark just says, "Hey man, let you loose and
just get him the ball, let him work."
Exactly.
Man, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I think, the defense is what unlocks everything. Like we said, this offense, we know that they are so good. We know that they are going to score between probably 80 and 100 points almost every game this season. But the defense is what is going to take us to the promised land. So we have to see it start tonight.
All right, so the over-under tonight, I think I saw it was 158. Is that what I saw? Hold on. 162. 162, Alabama, 162.5. Alabama, 27.5 point favorite, so it's gone up by a point since the last time I saw it. What you feeling tonight? Name me a score just for fun, because I've got one in my brain. I don't think that Alabama will cover this.
That's a lot of points to cover.
27.5.
It's a pretty good team.
Just for the sake of,
and let's be honest, while I'm expecting I have high expectations for this team. I would not be shocked to see them maybe come out and disappoint me a little bit on the defensive end in game 1. So that being said, I am going to let's lay down. I'll say 92 to 79.
92-79. That puts you at 171. That's an over. That's a UNC Asheville cover if you want to play that. But we're both going to take Alabama on the money line. I just think that you're probably going to end up 88 to 66, something in that range. 88-66 puts us at 154, an under. I hate playing the under because it's always more fun to play the over. But that's just kind of my feel. I think you're exactly right. I think Alabama's going to come out well in the first half. But I'm worried. I wonder about if you're going to get a full 40-minute effort, both 20-minute halves. I think I'm worried about, how well do you finish?
I think based off of that Memphis game, that's certainly something to worry about. I think that was a point of contention for Nate Oates after the game. He mentioned it, directly in his press conference that he didn't like the effort they came out with in the second half. They went into half up 20, and then Memphis scored like 16 points to Alabama's like 5 in the first few minutes of the second half of that game. So I hope that we don't see that maybe become a trend in game 1 here, but unfortunately, that is something that's going to be kind of nagging there in the back. Yeah, I think that's definitely
over under. How many hot dogs am I going to order?
I mean, I'm personally I'll probably eat at least 3.
Yeah. Coleman Coliseum, Greg Byrne, you're going to get your money out of me tonight. We'll see if they've done anything with those concession prices. You take $1 off, a little bit off, make it a little more affordable. That'd be great.
I bet if anything, they've gone $1 up.
I'm sure. Inflation. They got to keep building all that practice arena that's in the back.
There we go.
Parking is going to be kind of a pain in the butt this year. Just a forewarning to anybody coming in from out of town. It's just going to be a challenge. Because they are building the new practice facility and basically in the back of Coleman Coliseum. So you will want to get here early. The women are playing before the men.
They play at 5, I think I saw they tip off.
You're a better man than me for knowing that. So the women are tipping off before the men if you want to get in there early.
5 o'clock against New Orleans.
Okay, great. All right, let's go.
Privateers.
We'll see if Christy Curry can get off to a 1-0 start. I'm sure they will be able to.
Alabama women's basketball landed a commitment today from oh wow, I'm gonna butcher this name, but one Miss Lord De Silva Costas.
All right,
as I am aware, that is how you say the name. She is from Stockholm, Sweden originally, but goes to Montverde Academy there in Florida. As many basketball fans likely have heard of, they produce some of the best basketball.
That's where Liam McNeely's from, right? The kid that went to UConn that we didn't choose Alabama.
So yeah, they produce some of the best basketball recruits year in year out.
Is she 7'1"?
She's 6'3".
Okay,
but she's from everything I've read, she's a pretty versatile player. She's a bit aggressive, but she can also run the floor a bit. So could be a good player for Christy Curry.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if they can get off to a 1-0 start as well. We will be in there. Let us know if you're going to Coleman Coliseum tonight. What are your thoughts on the game at Joe Gaither 6 on any of the social media machines, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you like, Instagram, at Joe Gaither 6. We're going to get out of here for the day. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys on the Joe Gaither Show right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Big thanks to Mason Woods for joining us. You can follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_. You can follow me again at Joe Gaither 6. Find us on your favorite podcast platform, the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon. We're always presented by Derek Daniels State Farm right here in Northport. You can call him today, 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.